Hey guys, how you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. This is another episode of Hood Talks News.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Now, it's time.
finish it.
Hood Talks News.
Yeah, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Democratic Party and why I used to be a Democrat and left. What made me open my eyes to make me want to leave the Democratic Party. I also will be talking about the party that I'm on now, which is No Party. Who do I support? And why do I think that we need to open our eyes and realize what is going on around us and how we're being used just for votes, and we do not get any benefit in return. So we're going to be talking about all this in this podcast. Well, first, let me start off by saying that I used to be a Democrat for a very, very long time. I voted for Barack Obama twice. Before that, I wasn't really into politics. Barack Obama came, that's when I started being interested in politics, because I saw him as an inspiration, to not only people, Latinos and blacks and people like that, but we saw him as a come up. What the Democratic Party has figured out is that, or the way they think is that, we are too lazy. We are too lazy. The people that I'm talking about, they consider lazy are blacks, Puerto Ricans, Latinos. We are too lazy to go vote. We are too lazy to look at information and determine who is a better candidate that will be able to serve us. They have figured all this stuff out, that we don't look at none of that. The way that we vote is, we go in there, we look at the stuff, the names. If it says Democrat, we vote for them. If it says Republican, we hate Republicans because Republicans are evil, blah, blah, blah. Everybody else is evil except the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party wants what's in your best interest, which is a fucking lie. And I'm going to tell you right now why, or what made me open my eyes up to wanting to leave the Democratic Party. Big part of that was CNN. Okay, I used to be a big CNN head. I mean, talking about everything was CNN. I watched CNN this, CNN that, and everything that I used to watch on there, I used to believe, because I didn't realize that the media was being controlled by a group of people. If you notice, or they do this so that you won't notice, they make a whole bunch of channels, like 50, 60, 70 channels. They all show different content, but they all basically have the same agenda. Alright, so you have 50, 60 cable channels. Now, the normal person doesn't realize that all these channels are owned by the same people. So that's just like if you and 4 of your friends own all the news channels, and I come and I have some kind of beef with one of your friends, and you go tell your other friends, yo, listen, this cat right here, we need to take him out because, he told me this, and this. I'm upset with him. So now, and what they do is they go and they tell their friends, and their friends go tell their news or whatever they own to report badly or negatively about you. So that now when everybody starts seeing stuff about you, they think that you're a bad person. But the reason why they do this, not really a bad person, but it destroys your reputation. And the reason is because, like I said, people don't realize that all these things are owned by the same people. So what happens is that when you come and you see a new story on one channel, then you see it on another channel, and another, you don't put 2 and 2 together and say, wait a minute, these guys are owned by the same people. They're all saying the same thing because, they all have an agenda. You start thinking that the story is true. Right? Because we all are used to, the news not lying. Because even from back in the days, the news was supposed to be, put it like this, the news is not supposed to report opinions or bias. They're supposed to report facts. So if a news person is telling you their opinion and they're trying to make it seem like it's fact or something that hasn't happened yet, that will never happen, such as what CNN does, they always, when you go watch them, what they do is they put a whole bunch of situations that will never happen to get you upset or to make you catch feelings. So the reason why I left the Democratic Party, or what opened my eyes, was CNN. So one day I was watching CNN, right? And they had a story on this immigrant. Now, on his way to the hospital, the ICE police came and they arrested him while he was with his wife. His wife was in labor, have a child. So ICE stops these guys and arrests the dude. Now CNN reports this. Now remember, at this time I'm a big CNN head. I watched the story, and the story went like this: ICE is evil. They came and they took a man who was about to have a baby, and they put him under detention. And then they show the lady, his wife, on TV crying, confused, not knowing what the hell to do. This is where I found out that CNN is full of shit. I was looking around Instagram or other places, and I see the same story. In this story, like half the story, like CNN told half the story. Before I even tell you the whole story, I just want anybody that lives in the hood, or anybody who has ever experienced someone getting arrested. Now, I want you guys to answer me this. This gentleman, the reason why ICE arrested him, because he had a warrant for murdering someone. Now, again, the people in the hood that support the Democratic Party so hard, I want you guys to answer this question. Have you ever met anyone that the cops have come to their house to pick them up for murder, and they treat them good? They come with flowers, they come with gifts, and if they're in labor, the cops are gonna say, you know what, don't worry about it, we'll come back tomorrow. I want somebody from the hood to explain that to me, because that has never happened. There's people out here getting killed for selling cigarettes. Think about that. A traffic stop, just nothing. You're just going to work, they stop you, and there's a chance you're gonna die. All because of the color of your skin, your race. Now again, CNN just reported the part all the way up to the gentleman was having a baby and ICE came and detained him. I don't know about you, but I think murder is a very, very important part of a story that you do not leave out. Okay? It's not like you can just say, oh, it slipped my mind that he murdered someone. That's bullshit. Because that should be the headline. Because I remember, such as this gentleman, I don't know who his name was, he killed someone that was in the bathroom with his daughter, trying to molest her, and they were trying to give him time. Now for CNN to report half of this, and not report the murder part, but then that same gentleman that was defending his daughter, they post up mugshots. While when other people murder people and commit, they show them as family orientated. Like, well, he killed all these people, but he's, trying to paint them in a good light. Now, I want somebody from the hood to explain this to me. Why did CNN leave this part out? And I figured it out. Why? Because they want you to follow their agenda. Their agenda is an we hate America agenda. Because there is no reason why a news organization that's full of truth will leave out the fact that somebody was being picked up by ICE for murder, instead of trying to paint the ICE agents as an evil. Those ICE agents are just doing their job. Now I want you to answer me this question. If I was to come up to you, right, and you had money and you were able to hire a nanny, and I was to come up to you and say, hey man, I think you should hire this person. This person is very nice, this and that. You hire that person becomes part of your family. You guys start bonding with the person. And you come up to me and you say, hey man, thank you for introducing me to this guy, man. This guy's a, perfect, he's very nice, this and that. He cleans good, he works great. And then I come up to him and say, oh man, I'm happy you like him. He just came out of jail for murdering a whole family. What the fuck would you look at me and say if I was to tell you that? I guarantee you'd be like, why wouldn't you tell me that this guy was a murderer in the beginning? Why would you leave that out? And then I started thinking, I was like, wait a minute. So if CNN did this one time that I caught on, are they doing it constantly? And the answer is hell yeah. Because the very next story, they did the same thing. It was a lady. She starts to cry and scream on screen because they're taking kids and stuff away from her. And CNN is reporting it like she's a victim. Again, the real side of the story was the same lady was trafficking kids across the border and ICE caught her. Now explain to me why the fuck was somebody tried to hide that or cover that up if they do not have an agenda? I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. So when this started happening, my eyes started opening and I started saying, what else is like this? What other stuff are they feeding me and I'm just believing because of the news channel or the person, and I'm thinking that they're sincere? And when you come to look at it, it's just like I said, everybody's owned by the same people. You realize that when you start looking. And then you start noticing how all these people have the same agenda. They all say the same thing basically, even the Spanish channels. Another thing is that these people have paid big money for psychiatrists and people to analyze us and figure out the best way to control us without them having to physically control us.
HoodTalks News.
Thank you for listening. Please check out part 2 of the reason why I left the Democratic Party. You are listening to Hood Talks News Podcast. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hood Talks News. Subscribe, like, share our news channel on YouTube. Hood Talks News. Special thanks to the following awesome people who let me use their creations. Please show them some love. Hood Talks News. Powered by Devilla Media Group.